Okay, so at this time, I'll call this meeting to order. Would you please call the roll?
Certainly, Chair. Commissioner Baker.
Present.
Commissioner Garrettson.
Here.
Commissioner Granados.
Here.
Commissioner Kowalski.
Here.
Commissioner Leone.
Here.
Commissioner Mirabella.
Present.
Commissioner Palmieri Muedad. Vice Chair Hudak.
Present.
And Chair Williams.
Here.
Chair, you have 8 commissioners present for this evening's regular meeting.
Okay, thank you. Would you please lead us in the prayer and salute to the flag?
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you please now read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act?
The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of the New Jersey statutes annotated Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2022, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstance, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2022 in the Administration Building, and further by following the annual meeting schedule for the year 2022 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you so much. May I have a motion to approve the communications?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Mirabella, seconded by Commissioner Kowalski. Would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Baker.
Aye.
Commissioner Garrettson.
Yes.
Commissioner Granados.
Aye.
Commissioner Kowalski.
Yes.
Commissioner Leone.
Aye.
Commissioner Mirabella.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hudak.
Aye.
And Chair Williams.
Here.
Chair-
Aye. I'm sorry.
Chair, you have 8 votes in the affirmative for the communications.
Thank you so much. Tonight we have an ordinance for final reading, and I would ask our County Counsel, Bruce Bergen, to say a few words and to explain to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. For the record, at our meeting, at the board's meeting of April 28th, there was an intention to hold a public hearing on this ordinance, 838.2022, which in fact took place. However, the ordinance title that was printed in the agenda was an incorrect title, and so at the advice of my office, it was decided to hold a second hearing to ensure that the public has a full opportunity to comment on this ordinance before it's adopted. And that's why it's listed again tonight, the same number as was on a couple weeks ago. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. So to that end, Clerk, would you please read the ordinance by title?
Certainly, Chair. Ordinance number 838-2022, bond ordinance to authorize the renovation and expansion of the physical education facility at the Cranford campus for Union County College in, by, and for the County of Union, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $5,635,800 to pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Thank you. This meeting is now open to the public for the purpose of commenting on this ordinance, 838-2022 only.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Commissioner Board, and Dr. Garrettson, Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. I'm a little confused. I heard a date of April 14th from Attorney Bergen. I didn't hear the year, only because we had a meeting on April 7th and then April 25th this year, and I guess April 14th was another year. If just that could be cleared up a little bit. And then questions. I don't even know if I asked the same questions, but I will again. The $5.6 million cost, is that, what exactly is that for? I see expansion of the physical education facility at the Cranford campus, Union County College. So, I mean, just explain a little more in detail what they're planning to do. And also this 5.6 million, does this include the burden of the professional costs such as design and construction management and such like that? So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll ask Director Taylor to come up and offer some clarification.
Through you, Madam Chair, the date of the original final reading of Ordinance 838-2022 was April 28th. This ordinance, in effect, is a installment of a total project funding for the renovation and expansion of the Union County College gymnasium complex. And so it includes, it's an all-inclusive cost. However, because the county also has costs associated with issuance of bonds as well as the ongoing arbitrage rebate calculation, we also have a 1% Section 20 built into this. It's important to note that these bonds are paid by 50% by the state, so even though it is an authorization for $5.6 million, essentially all we are doing is incurring debt of 2.7 in order to help UCC and to support their initiatives.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The floor is still open if anyone else wants to comment on this specific ordinance. I see no one else, so I'll formally close this portion of the meeting, and I will ask Chairman Granados, Fiscal Chairman Granados, to please move Ordinance 838-2022 for final reading.
Thank you, Chair. I move ordinance number 838-2022 for final reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law.
May I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Fiscal Chair Granados, seconded by Commissioner Mirabella. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Baker.
Aye.
Commissioner Garrettson.
Yes.
Commissioner Granados.
Aye.
Commissioner Kowalski.
Yes.
Commissioner Leone.
Aye.
Commissioner Mirabella.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hudak.
Aye.
And Chair Williams.
Aye.
Chair, you have 8 commissioners voting in the affirmative on ordinance number 838-2022.
Thank you. We now come to the part of the meeting where we will look at our 2022 budget title and COLA cap bank resolution. This is now open for the purpose of commenting on those two resolutions, 2022-376 and 2022-377 only. And I would just add, 376 allows the board to adopt the budget by title rather than reading the entire budget into the record as allowed by state statute, and 377 authorizes the county to exceed the county tax levy limit and to establish a cap bank as allowed by state statute. I just wanted to make that clear. Floor is open. Please state your name and town of residence.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Commissioner Board, Dr. Garrettson. This is Bruce Patterson, Garwood. The COLA cap bank resolution, I don't know how many times I've asked about this. I never got an answer. Let's just pick, I guess, last 3 years, maybe 4. But anyway, the COLA and the cap are two different things. I've asked this question, and I'd like to get an answer. And it looks like I am really getting an answer by looking at this year's budget, because I see there's actually a separate line item called COLA increase in the budget. I forgot how much it is. My papers are over there, but it was about around $6 million or something like that. So I guess it is two different things, and as one that I always ask, could you please explain to the public what this COLA increase is about, how it comes about? And I guess the cap bank, how much are we actually putting into the cap bank, and what is the total in the cap bank? I know it's a rolling 3-year average, so I guess that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Director Taylor, could you please offer clarification on these two resolutions? Further clarification?
Through you, Madam Chair. First, there is a distinction between the COLA and the cap. As many of you are aware, as many of the public are aware, there are two caps that counties have to utilize, which is the 1977 cap and the 2010 cap. The 1977 cap has several exclusions that are unique unto itself. Essentially, debt, capital improvement, health benefits, emergency authorization. and pension bills, as well as other exclusions such as the college and the VOTEC are exclusion under 77. The health benefits is a limit of 4%, and there is no pension exclusion under 77. Under the 2010 cap, debt is an exclusion, capital is an exclusion, emergency appropriation, and the pension bills are an exclusion, and health benefits is an exclusion over 2%. There are no other exclusions, other items such as UCC and VOTEC under the 2010 cap. With that being said, the COLA itself is established under the 1977 cap, and that is a maximum of 3.5%. The state prescribes what we are allowed to utilize on an annual basis, and in this year it's 2.5. We are allowed then by this COLA resolution to apply and bank the excess of 1%. So maximum 3.5, state gives us 2.5. This resolution authorizes 1%, which is equivalent to $2.4 million. We are banking $1.6 million this year, and under the 2021 bank, we have $4.2 million.
You got that, everybody? Okay, thank you, Director Taylor.
You are
Any
welcome.
other questions? Okay, so I'll formally close this portion of the meeting, and I will ask Fiscal Chairman Granados to please move resolutions 2022-376 and 2022-377 for adoption.
Thank you, Chair. I move 2022-376, 2022-377 for final adoption. Advertise clerk of the board. Yes. Thank you, Chair.
May I have a second?
second.
Okay.
Second.
Moved by Chairman Granados and seconded by Commissioner Kowalski. Oh, I'm sorry. Could you please call the roll?
Certainly. And just for the record, that was moved by Sergio and seconded by Commissioner Kowalski. Got
Yes.
it. Commissioner Baker?
Aye.
Commissioner Garrettson?
Yes.
Commissioner Granados?
Aye.
Commissioner Kowalski?
Yes.
Commissioner Leone?
Aye.
Commissioner Mirabella?
Aye.
Vice Chair Hudak?
Aye.
And Chair Williams?
Aye.
Chair, you have 8 votes in the affirmative on both resolutions 2022-376 and 2022-377.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Mel Zito, and the rest of the public to the official public hearing on our 2022 budget. I'm happy to officially announce that once again, for the third year in a row, we will be able to deliver to our constituents, our residents here, a 0% tax increase. This budget, once again, it maintains all the essential services and programs that we run, and it continues to maintain our excellent bond rating. Before I turn it over to Fiscal Chair Granados, I really would like to give special thanks to Finance Director B.B. Taylor, certainly our County Manager Ed Oatman, our Deputy County Manager Amy Wagner, and our Fiscal Committee members for their outstanding efforts once again. Thanks so much, and now I will turn it over to Chairman Granados.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening. As the 2022 Chairman of the Fiscal Committee, our committee and Union County Commissioner Board as a whole helped lead the review of this year's budget over the past few months, and we're ready for a final vote tonight after the hearing. As this Chair mentioned, this is the third year in a row that we'll be passing a 0% tax increase. The COVID-19 pandemic recovery and the rising inflation have put a strain on many households throughout Union County, so every little bit helps. We know as commissioners we need to ensure that there was no increase in taxes, and that is what we have done here today. We've worked hard with our county manager at Oatman, our finance director B.B. Taylor, our deputy county manager who worked closely with our directors across the county of Union to build a budget that would not only fund the recovery, but to keep the essential services and programs we already have needed by our residents. And even though it was not easy, we were able to do this again for the third year, all while maintaining our AAA bond rating, the highest obtainable. So I'd like to personally thank the members of the Fiscal Committee that helped craft this budget, including Commissioner Lourdes Leon, Commissioner Al Mirabella, Commissioner Kim Palmieri Muded, and all of those part of this Commissioner Board, and all the people part of the Finance Department staff who helped make sure that we work together in bringing this budget forward. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone involved for this collaborative effort and their hard work in this budget process. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Granados. I'll now open the meeting to hold the official public hearing on the 2022 Union County budget. The floor is open.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Commissioner Board, Bruce Patterson, oh, and Dr. Garrison, of course. Bruce Patterson, Garwood. I just want to correct, maybe you don't know this, but, just because the county taxes are 0%, it's split up by equalized values that go down to the towns, and some towns have a tax increase, and some towns have a tax decrease, and I guess some towns have a zero tax increase. But the county tax just being 0% doesn't mean that everybody, all the 21 towns have a zero tax increase on the county taxes. So just want that to be explained a little bit further. I did offer a rough idea how to actually get all the towns to the zero tax increase and below, and it would end up probably using, I forgot the number, but it was like around $6 or $10 million of the contingency surplus. But all towns would then have a zero or less tax impact from the county. So, looking at the budget, I mean, it's a $500 million. It's just an amazing big number, but I guess the good part is it's more or less been pretty even for the last 10 years. I put together a 10-year spreadsheet on it, and it's been fairly even. But at the time that it's been even, it's actually been up a little bit from 493 10 years ago to 513 this year. But anyway, I mean, in those 10 years, we had the engineering department closed, Runnels was privatized, Oak Ridge Park was closed, the Union County Improvement Authority more or less was defunded. The juvie center was closed. The county jail was closed. So I mean, there was so much that was closed. So you're talking about the services. We lost a lot of services because you closed and privatized a lot of them. So that's that's a major impact. Yet the taxes have gone up. The cap bank, I'm looking at the cap bank, and Director Taylor did mention $4.2 million we're using in the cap bank, which is really incredulous, because, I mean, our surplus is, the running fund balance is $180 million now. I mean, it jumped from $140 million to $180 million. The surplus money just gets buried. I can't believe it, and then it pops up again every year. I mean, that surplus should be used really to decrease the taxes, not just keep them flat. We got $142 million in free cash buried in the budget. $142 million. I mean, in 2016, when you guys actually achieved a AAA rating, which, I guess I have to congratulate you on it for that rating. But I mean, that was like 1/4. The number was 1/4 that in the surplus, and now it's 4 times as much. Somehow you're not handling the budget right. A lot of that money should be going back to the taxpayers because it's our money. It is our money. Salary and wages, that's been pretty flat. However, the employee count went down by about 28% in the 10 years because you have closed, down the juvie and the jail, et cetera, et cetera. It was around 2,900 10 years ago. Now it's looks like 2167. So that's a 28% decrease, and yet the salary and wages stay the same. I guess everybody gets raises, but I don't know. You know about the 22% raise that I've been talking about back in December, and the 9%, 11%. I mean, it's like free money to you guys. This is the tax money. The insurance, that's interesting. It's nice that you save $400,000. I just heard from the agenda setting meeting by switching over the VOTEC to the county, which is great. But I mean, I'll tell you, the insurance costs actually in just 1 year increased 18%. That's the health and employee type insurance, 18%. The state comptroller actually said that this is where, if you're going to look at waste and political shenanigans, this is where you really should be checking. So, I mean, we're talking about major increase in insurance. Yes, the COVID, I would assume, impacted it somewhat, but, I mean, you got to take a look at this. That number is astronomical, astronomical. The last issue, and I've mentioned this every year for the last 5-6 years, but the Union County Utility Authority, which I have talked about, You know, initially, we were getting
Mr.
$2 million,
Patterson?
now we're only getting
You're-
$500,000.
Thank you. Your time is up.
All
Thank
right,
you so
just
much.
Last
Um,
item, matching
and I-
grants, decrease it to 25% from
Okay.
50%.
Mr. Patterson, your
Thank you.
time is up. Thank you. There were a number of inaccuracies in some of what was just said. I would actually turn to the county manager, perhaps to correct some of the inaccuracies.
Sure. Well, Director Taylor, excuse me, comes up to go over some points. One of the comments that stuck out is that we lost services. There's no service that was lost. We're providing them better, cheaper. You referenced the jail. That's a mandate. We still have to find housing for the prisoners. That's a state mandate. We still do that. It's in Essex County. It saves $20 million. No services were lost. We still provide them. We're saving money while doing so.
And Director Taylor, can you just
Absolutely.
Explain.
Through you, Madam Chair. So there's a little bit of issues that were being conflated, which is the cap bank and the surplus. They're two separate issues. Essentially, you still can't raise taxes. These taxes have not gone up. They're still 0%. Point in fact, because we had to do a cap-based adjustment, there's no revenue anywhere that is hidden. If anyone is familiar with actually fund accounting in the state of New Jersey, our surplus is not in the budget. The surplus is actually on the balance sheet. If it was in the budget, it would be on the appropriation side, on the revenue side. You have to, all things have to equal. So it is, nothing's hidden in the budget. The budget is a transparent document. It shows every line item of appropriation consistent with the state formula, which details salary and wages and OE. All the revenues are also detailed. It's important to note, the county manager touched upon some of the services, but the sale of Runnels Hospital, we actually through, at that time, Chair Hudak reinvested through the infrastructure grant to really utilize the sale of Runnels in order to reinvest in our municipalities. That money is not in the budget. It's actually on our balance sheet. It is not part of our spending plan. It's important to also detail that. With regard to insurance, yes, COVID is a prime factor. We are a self-insured entity, and because many people did not go to the hospital and or are dealing with long COVID symptoms, our costs have gone up. But because we do have a surplus and because we have been consistently, conservatively financing and budgeting as detailed by Moody's rating agency, we are able to accommodate all of those increased costs because of our practices.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other speakers? I see no other speakers coming before us, so I'm going to formally close this official hearing of our 2022 Union County budget and ask Fiscal Chairman Granados to please move this resolution 2022-378 for adoption.
Thank you, Chair. As fiscal chair, move ordinance 2022-378 for approval and authorize the clerk to do the same. Thank you, Chair.
May I have a second?
Second. Give it to Chris.
Moved by Commissioner Granados, seconded by Vice Chair Hudak. Could we please have a roll call?
Certainly, Chair. Commissioner Baker.
Aye.
Commissioner Garrettson. Commissioner Granados.
Aye.
Commissioner Kowalski.
Yes.
Commissioner Leone.
Aye.
Commissioner Mirabella.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hudak.
Aye.
And Chair Williams.
Aye.
Chair, you have 8 votes in the affirmative on Resolution 2022-378.
Thank you so much. Before opening the meeting to public comment, I'm sure everyone present is aware of the bag ban. So I would like to ask Director Graziano to please come to the podium to give us a brief presentation relative to the state's recent bag ban.
Thank you, Chair. I know we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, and finally have a quick 5-minute presentation. I'd like to introduce to the public Stuart Newman, who's our recycling coordinator, who took over for Joanne Jamenden, who left us a little while ago. And Stu will give you a quick 5 to 6 minute update on the bag ban that I guess was started in the state back in 2020. The legislation was passed, and we finally got to this point on May 4th of this year where the bag ban came into effect, and Stu will give you a little bit of update on that.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Joe, and thank you, Board. I just want to introduce our team to everybody. Myself, I'm the chairman, not the chairman, the Bureau Chief of Recycling and Planning. Heather Miara is under me, and Milton Murphy, they're our team. Okay. The ban bag the bag ban legislation outlaws plastic bags at grocery stores, retail outlets. There are some exclusions that I'll get into in a few minutes. It also bans paper bags at grocery stores measuring more than 2,500 square feet. Reusable bags must have stitch handles. I know that everybody's getting the reusable bags these days. The law does require these to have stitch handles and must be able to be used 125 times. They put that in there because we don't want to start wasting the reusable bags. It bans, which I'm going to get to in a few minutes, single-use polystyrene foam. The food service foam, everybody has the old clamshell food containers. It bans that as well, and it also bans restaurants giving out plastic straws. They have to be asked for now. The goals of legislation, obviously, are to reduce harm and pollution in the products. These products, they cause a lot of issues with our environment. Everybody drives down the street and they see plastic bags blowing in the trees. So obviously, as time goes on, as plastic bags become less, hopefully this problem gets alleviated. The important dates that we have to keep in mind, they both passed at this point. On November 4th, 2021, the plastic straw ban went into effect, where straws will only be available by request. So if you go into Dunkin' Donuts now and get an iced tea, like I do every morning, you should not be handed a straw. You should ask for a straw, and one should be given to you. I know that's probably driving some people nuts, but it's going to help the overall goal of stopping pollution. On May 4th, as Joe said, polystyrene foam service was banned. The clamshell containers and the single-use carry-out bags were banned as well, as everybody well knows at this point. There are a few agencies that are involved with this. The DEP, they're responsible for the overall implementation of the law, including the adoption of the implementation regulations. So, of course, they put the law into effect. Clean Communities Council, everybody's well aware that Joanne Jamenden is now in charge out there. They're in charge of the public information and education program, so they're bringing everybody up to speed all over the place. Joanne is out and about, and her team is really doing a bang-up job of getting the word out there. They're also distributing bags throughout the state. I can't even tell you how many bags she's given out to the people in New Jersey, but quite a few. The Business Action Center, they are working with the businesses to, obviously this is going to be a life-changing thing for business owners, both large and small. So they're working with the business owners to make sure that it's an easy transition. Our bureau is doing a bunch of stuff. We're supporting the municipalities. We've given out a couple thousand bags ourselves, which I'll get into in a little bit. We're getting into public information. I'll get into that in a few minutes as well. And we're getting out there doing speaking engagements and education. The enforcement is up to the DEP and the CI agency on the public health side. So the benefits of the bag ban. It reduces litter, like I said, and conserves resources on the plastic bag side. On the paper bag side, you might not know, but it requires 10 times the amount of trucks to deliver the same amount of paper bags as it does plastic bags. So in theory, this will stop the fossil fuel issues, the transportation issues, by pulling the large amount of paper bags. As far as the clamshells and the polystyrene foam, we all know that that's a big litter item. So by getting rid of that, it'll stop the litter. And it also does not biodegrade very well at all. So obviously it lasts in our environment for a very long time, and we can get rid of that issue. What this means to Union County residents is, everybody well knows, when you go food shopping now, you'll not be able to get a plastic bag. You can bring your plastic bags with you if you do have them, but you will not be able to get new plastic bags from the stores. There'll be no more food containers made out of foam, and no more straws will be given out at establishments. Okay, you have to ask for your straws from this point forward. There are some exemptions to the law. A bag that carries solely uncooked meat, food or poultry, you're still allowed to use. Loose items such as nuts, coffee, the small bags that you get in stores. Loose produce, you can still use those bags as well. Laundry cleaning bags, you can use those as well. And pharmacy bags that carry your prescriptions, you could do that as well. The old newspaper bags, for those of you that still get newspapers delivered to your driveway, you could still use those as well. So that's stuff that's still allowed. Still allowed under the polystyrene foam ban. Portion cups of 2 ounces or less. Meat and fish trays that you find in stores that hold your meat, they will still be able to be used. And any prepackaged food item that comes in polystyrene foam will still be able to be used. Enforcement. So there's a whole schedule set up by the DEP. The first offense is a warning. For the second offense, you could be fined up to $1,000 per day. Second time around, $5,000 a day, and they keep on going and building. On the county side, the county health department will be enforcing it. They are working out details with the DEP, and they should be moving forward with that in a couple of weeks.
Can I just interject?
Sure.
When you're talking about enforcement, you're talking about grocery stores and other stores.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I won't be arrested if I. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
No. So what's our bureau doing to prepare? If we can move on to that slide. There we go. So obviously we've been on the county website. Thanks to Kelly and her staff, they've been beyond supportive to us. They've been unbelievable. We've been doing press releases. If you keep on going through this, Robert. So that's the county website. We've been using Tap Into, NJ.com. We've been doing, if you just keep on scrolling through this. Yeah. So that's some of the stuff that we've been on NJ.com with. So we had an article in the Suburban Westfield. Next slide. We've done the PSA. Next slide, and that's a video. Thank you very much for the voice, too, by the way.
That was fabulous. Fabulous.
We've also, like I was distributing earlier, we've been giving out tent cards to businesses and residents as well. It's a quick snapshot of what's going on and how they can get up to speed with things. We've been interfacing with municipalities. Yeah, keep on going. Oh, okay. We've been presenting to groups. Some of the things that municipalities are doing, they're giving out bags as well. They're doing presentations as well. They've been going out to their own fairs, their own events, giving out bags, and really hammering home the point. We've been working hand in hand with every municipality in the county, and it's working out very, very well. We've given out 4,075 bags at this point of our own. We have another 5,000 on the way, and we'll have another 5,000 after that. So if anybody needs a bag, we'll get you one. As far as funding goes, no county tax dollars are being used for any of our preparations. We're funded through the Recycling Enforcement Act, the REA, and the Clean Communities Grant, so we're funded grant-wise fully. Another point here is the straw legislation, like I brought up earlier. The food service and businesses, they're only allowed to give out straws if asked for, and stores can still sell packages of straws, but for the most part, they're really trying to eliminate, people taking straws left and right. There are a few online resources. You can see it up on the screen right there. Bag Up NJ, that's our hotline right now. That's what's getting all the information out for the most part. The DEP website is Get Past Plastic, and the New Jersey Business Action Center also has a lot of information on their website if anybody needs. And I just want to thank you guys for all your support. It's much appreciated. Again, Kelly's staff in her office has been incredible, and Joe and the rest of our staff in Public Works has been phenomenal as well. And thank you all.
Thank you so much.
It's a big change in life for everybody in the state of New Jersey, and it's a great team we have here that is really helping us move forward. Thank you.
Absolutely.
If anybody has any questions, from the board or even from the public, we could.
Okay. Commissioner Kowalski.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I understand that some of the bags that we're distributing are made of recycled materials. Isn't
Yes,
that right?
that is correct.
Okay. And
Plastic bottles.
plastic bottles?
Mhm.
Great. Well, good way to get rid of them. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes. I have two questions.
Sure.
What about the stores that are under 2,500 square feet? Are they still
They
allowed
can
to
still distribute paper
distribute
bags.
paper bags, but not
Correct.
plastic?
Not plastic. No
Okay.
plastic at all.
Okay. Now, my second question is if if homeowners or individuals have accumulated plastic bags like I have over the
I'm guilty
years,
as well. You can still use them.
you can still use
Correct.
them? But if they want to get rid of them, can they throw them out with the refuse?
So we're actually looking at starting a plastic film recycling program in the county. So hopefully we can get a recycling avenue for that. We're gonna get it down to Trex ultimately, so they can start making decking out of that. So there's a lot of moving pieces to that. We're working on that, and hopefully we'll have something in place in the next couple of months, so we can recycle them. You can throw them out, yes.
You can't throw them out?
Yes.
Okay. But you're talking about a separate initiative?
Correct.
Specifically targeting
Film
plastic?
plastic and plastic bags.
Okay.
But now they might be like gold. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Okay, well, thank you very
You're
much.
welcome, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Vice Chair Hudak.
Good evening, Stuart. Just great presentation.
Thank you.
Great point on the paper bags, because that was something that I didn't realize initially in the law, that the banning of the bags, paper bags for the stores 2,500 square feet and over, and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. And great to hear about the straws. Great presentation, and this weekend, you know, I noticed going to the grocery store, generally speaking, everyone was pretty much on board, and it was pretty seamless.
So we actually had an event in Rizzuto Park last month, and just out of curiosity, I started asking people if they heard about it. And there was about 30 people I asked, and there was only one person that did not hear about it.
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, all the resources that are out there did get the word out.
Yeah.
So
The stores were definitely,
Yeah.
you know, pumping out signage, and
out
grocery
bags.
stores are the one of those places you just can't avoid,
yeah,
even if you try.
trust me, my mother's the most upset person about this legislation, off the record.
Well, good presentation.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You know, good luck stepping into Joanne Giamenda's shoes. She is royalty
I understand.
in terms of
They
New
don't make- they
Jersey
don't make
recycling.
shoes- They don't make shoes big enough, I understand.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. No other comments? Stuart, Joe, thank you so much. And
Thank you
thank
very
you
much.
as well for bringing the bags for our young people, because, you know, they're the ones who are going to disseminate information and maybe keep their parents on track with, you know, the latest. So thank you so much.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work in Union County as well. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Have a good
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the meeting is now open to the public for the purpose of commenting on resolutions being offered for adoption or on any other governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern. So please state your name and town of residence for the record and adhere to our 5-minute time limit. And also please provide the number of the resolution.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Dennis Alaco. I reside at 25 Stockton Road in Summit, New Jersey. It's good to be back in Elizabeth. After a 38-year professional career with the U.S. Postal Service, the last 10 spent here in Elizabeth as postmaster, it's good to be back and see everybody.
Congratulations.
Along with my 38-year career with the Postal Service, I also have the unique distinction, I guess, some people say I'm absolutely out of my mind, but I also officiate Division I men's basketball. So I take those two things and I try and put a lot of things that I see in perspective. And one of the things that I always take away from both of those things, actually there's two things. Number one, I call them the way I see them. Okay, that's the referee coming out at me. Number two, as a manager, I always told my subordinate supervisors, don't expect, inspect. And what that means very simply is, let's not always take for granted that things are maybe the way we would like them to be. Let's actually go and physically see them, because our eyes will not lie to us. So I'm here tonight for a couple of different reasons. And Joe, I'm glad to see Joe's here. Joe, the intersection from Glenside Avenue in Summit, where Glenside intersects with Morris, all the way out to the sheriff's facility. The right-hand side of the road has been a disaster for an extended period of time. There's debris that continuously falls down from the hillside. It obstructs, that is a very busy area with bikers, joggers, people using that area for recreational purposes. That area has material that continuously comes down off the hillside
Okay.
and needs to be policed. We need to do a little better job with that.
Okay.
Okay. Next point. I'm very fortunate. I have 4 granddaughters. They love to be outdoors. I take them where I reside. I am very close to the Loop Playground up in the center of the Watchung Reservation. They come to my house. Pop, can we go to the playground? Absolutely, we go. One of the things I've noticed over the course of time is that our playground facility in that particular area, along with other areas, I'm fortunate in Summit we have Bryant Park, which is a very nice passive recreation area. One of the things I noticed though when I go there is that we do things like we cut the grass, but we don't do the other little things, like, for example, around the signage as you enter the parks. The weeds are taller than the bushes. Why do we put bushes there? So that the weeds can obstruct them? I think we need to pay a little more attention to detail and maybe police those areas a little better, okay? The last thing, and the thing that I'm really here for, is I'm here tonight to represent 90-plus individuals that are better known as the Ashbrook Men's Golf Association. I'm very fortunate to belong to this organization. We get together on weekends and holidays, and we have a wonderful time over at Ashbrook Golf Course. One of the frustrating things, though, that we experience as an organization is the total lack of care that the golf course receives. And as a golfer, and as someone who is actually, since I've retired, I've been fortunate for 3 summers I've worked, or 3 seasons, I've worked at a country club in the area. So I know a little bit about what a facility should look like, and I know a little bit enough about what it takes to operate a facility of that magnitude. It gets a lot of play, we all understand that. But there have been conditions that have existed at Ashbrook for well over 5 and 6 years now, that there is just things like a fairway, a lead up to a green. There shouldn't be a mud pile there. I know my time is almost up, so I'm going to leave you with this. If we spent just a fraction of the money that we put into Galloping Hill into Ashbrook, and I know this may shock you, Ashbrook is the bones a better golf course than Galloping Hill, without a doubt. Anybody who knows anything about golf will tell you that. What we did, the money we invested at Ashbrook, all we did, we didn't build the clubhouse. There are no amenities that improved the golfer's experience. We built we can't even call it a clubhouse. What we did is we built a restaurant. If you go and take a look, again, I offer an opportunity, go to other facilities, take a look around. There's nothing that enhanced the golfer's experience.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm hoping that we can work some of those issues out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So those 3 issues, the intersection at Glenside and Morris, the loop and playground at right, and the playground facility at the reservation near the loop, and certainly your comments on the Ashbrook Golf Course. The directors who are responsible for all those areas are here, and I'm sure that they will have conversations with the county manager, and we will make sure that we inspect and see what's going on.
I'll go take a look tomorrow, Chair, about those 3 places.
Okay. Okay. The meeting is still open. If there are any other comments from the public?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Commissioner Board, Dr. Garrettson. This is Bruce Patterson Garwood. I'm going to visit a past issue I've mentioned a couple of times. He said I really had no facts of any of my allegations, and today I'll provide some information. And of course, I'll use the word allege, for all of this. Timeline, January 8th, 2017, Field Strategies LLC Incorporated, but it wasn't in New Jersey. And I'll get to why I mentioned that company. July 7th, 2020, MV Strategies incorporates in New Jersey. The main office is in Washington, D.C. A Megan Brown is the only employee. August 13, 2020, Union County gives MV Strategies a CARES Act contract for COVID survey work, $750,000. Exhibit 1 lists 9 action items for them to do, listed as community outreach. August 26, 2020, a press release is put out by Union County. This notes a door-to-door COVID program with a 7-question questionnaire for those who received COVID tests at the county drive-in. The rest is during this year. February 28th, Oprah by the public for CARES Act expenditure list. MV Strategies is listed on there, 9 checks for $83,000 each, described as freeholder COVID expenses. 9 freeholders, 9 checks, could just be a coincidence. March 21st, we Oprah the PO, invoice, and checks to MV Strategies, received documents that MV Strategies was indeed paid CARES Act monies, $750,000. March 24th, the first commissioner meeting, I brought up issues regarding $750,000 in freeholder expenses listed on CARES expenditure list, and Rebecca Williams called it scurrilous accusations. March 28th, we Oprah for MV Strategies contract and amendments. Contract Exhibit 1 lists the 9 items MV has to do for the contract. March 28th, we Oprah emails between county and MV Strategies. And this is where we find Elena Estrin of Field Strategies is picking up the checks from the county. March 29th, we Oprah 4 items listed under paragraph B, Exhibit 1 of MV contract identified as deliverables. Never received anything. April 11th, we Oprah for MV Strategies summary of results from their contract work. Never received anything. April 11th, we Oprah for the 7-question survey document from the Union County press release. Never received it. April 26th, we did receive a 3-page document listing 4 questions, poorly written. Only one specific question really was about health and food insecurity. This may be in response to part of the Oprah on NV Strategies. We can't really determine what that is. In it, it notes the resident would get an email, but however, what happens if they don't have a computer? April 28th, the second commissioner meeting, I brought up issues of NV Strategies, lack of documentation, and freeholder expense designation. 5 of 8 commissioners went ballistic in denial, and I asked back then if they have any proof otherwise. April 29th, we do 5 Oprahs for the 9 items listed in NV Strategies contract Exhibit 1, such as deliverables, daily reports, flyers, etc. All stuff that should already be on the county computer. Never received anything. So here we are. And this all could be mitigated if that today actually shows some proof otherwise that something was done, which we have given you 1 month to look it up and produce it for the public. $750,000 was given to NV Strategies that only has 1 employee. This employee, Megan Brown, is linked to a political activist site which fought against Trump during the election in 2020, and is also linked to GOTV activities. NV Strategies laundered money to Field Strategies, a third party. This company calls itself a political organization involved in GOTV activities also. When money disappears into third-party pockets, no tracing can be done after that by the public. Over 1.5 months and 8 Oprah requests for MV Strategies work product per the contract yielded no results. And the conclusion is $750,000 in federal money disappeared with nothing to show for it. The only description for it listed in the CARES Act expenditure list is freeholder expenses, which brings up some serious suspicions of where the laundered money went. All this documentation we plan to forward to the U.S. Attorney's Office. One last item from last meeting.
Your time is up, Mr. Patterson. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
And to what I term scurrilous, I would add irresponsible and offensive. And these, this idea of money laundering, I didn't hear alleged in front of that. But I'm going to ask the county manager to please make a couple of comments on MV Strategies and the work that the county did with our partners during this pandemic.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to talk
And
a little-
that continues on. Thank you.
Just to talk a little bit about MV Strategies. I know Mr. Patterson referred to our COVID response last time as frivolous, but we'll keep moving on that. You're questioning if the state used MV Strategies. Just sitting here on my phone, if you Google the state's COVID response field program, there's an article from 6/7/2021 in the Press of Atlantic City. Also, Camden County used this company. If you want to go to camdenhealth.org, you get a little information. Gloucester County, Hudson County, Burlington County, Middlesex County, City of West New York. A lot of places use this company. Saying they laundered money, that might be a little slanderous. The attorneys will probably be reaching out to you. As for your Oprahs, it's hard to keep track with all your Oprahs, but the daily reports, so you asked for proof to show me one piece of paper, here you go. This is one of the daily reports. If you Oprah the right material, Mr. Patterson, you get the result. We can't help the fact your Oprah is a boondoggle. Your time's up, thank you.
All right. Let's see. Oh, Vice Chair Hudak.
Yeah, no, Chair, I just wanted to point out, the speaker took issue with you calling him out regard to his comments and seemed to hedge and waffle as to the statements that he made. But I'd like to read them back to him. That the company actually, quote, the company actually forwarded to each of the commissioners $83,000 each, totaling $750,000 using the Federal CARES Act funding. Those were your specific words of alleged wrongdoing, which you cannot defend or prove because it did not happen. So don't come up here and waffle and say, oh, I think it should be looked into. No. You said the money was getting. You're full of crap.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, if you speak again, we'll have to ask you to leave. Thank you. Okay, the floor is still open for any other. Oh, Commissioner Granados.
Thank you, Chair. Just in reference to members of the public making statements about myself lying when it comes to MV Strategies and the comments about the state using them. As you can basically see, based off what the county manager's response was, that not only state, other entities across the state of New Jersey have also used MV Strategies. But once again, I'll state once again, Mr. Patterson, do your due diligence, check your work before you make a statement. Only thing I'm gonna say. And once again, hold on, and once again, when you come up here and make a comment about money laundering, okay, that's an issue for everyone. Just do your work, that's it. Have a nice night, Mr. Patterson. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the bag also.
You might want to get your coat.
County Manager,
You might want to get your coat.
go ahead.
I'm here for you. I just want to congratulate you, though. You can call the Attorney General. All you're doing is wasting government time and resources.
And money.
For.
Okay.
Have
All
a
right.
good night.
If there are there any other speakers? Okay. Seeing no other speakers, I will formally close this portion of the meeting, and I would ask for a resolution to adopt 2022-379 through 2022-4-421.
So moved, Madam Chair. Seconded.
Moved by Commissioner Mirabella, seconded by Commissioner Baker. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
Commissioner Garrettson, Commissioner Granados.
Aye.
Commissioner Kowalski.
Yes.
Commissioner Leone.
Aye.
Commissioner Mirabella.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hudak.
Aye.
And Chair Williams.
Aye.
Chair, you have 7 votes in the affirmative on resolutions 2022-379 through 2022-421.
Thank you so much. At this point, we will ask for commissioner reports, and starting from my far left, Commissioner Commissioner Leon.
Good evening, everyone. This week, we are recognizing all of the employees within Union County in honor of Public Service Recognition Week. I would like to once again let all employees know that your hard work and dedication to public service are much appreciated every day. The last 2 years have been very trying, as we all know, due to the pandemic, and yet you did not hesitate to rise to the challenge, work together, and fulfill your commitment to our residents. Because of all of you, we were able to continue delivering essential services all throughout the pandemic, while adding on new initiatives such as testing, vaccinations, food distributions, etc. It would not have been possible without you, and this week is all about you. We are so very proud of you, we appreciate you, and we look forward to making more progress to make our county even more successful and efficient, bettering the quality of life of all. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of Public Service Recognition Week.
Thank you, Commissioner Leon. Commissioner Granados.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. In a resolution passed at last Commissioners' meeting, we designated May as National Mental Health Awareness Month. In recognition of this month, the Department of Human Services Office of Behavioral Health and Substance Abuse, in partnership with Atlantic Health System, will host a free webinar titled Mental Health 101. How do we talk about mental health? Since the start of the pandemic, an increasing number of people are talking about mental health and its importance to overall health. But mental health conditions, resources, and conversations can still feel complicated and confusing at times. This webinar, hosted by Sharon Kelly of Atlantic Behavioral Health and Concern EAP, will feature discussion where residents can learn the basics about mental health and how they can strengthen their own health. This webinar will take place on Thursday, May 19th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. Pre-registration is required, and interested residents can visit our county website at ucnj.org, or for more information, please call Atlantic Behavioral Health at 973-579-8573. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kowalski.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to add my thanks to all of the Union County employees doing the great job that you do, and I hope that the Employee Appreciation Week has been going well for you, but you know that we appreciate you all the time. So there was a comment made from the floor about the departments closing and so on, and it was said that the engineering department closed. So I just wanted to, for the record, say that we have a very lively and existing engineering and public works department, as Mr. Graziano is well aware, and so that was an inaccuracy as well. Chair Williams and I had the pleasure of attending the Senior Arts Show at Trailside Nature Center earlier this week, and that was a great success. The art by seniors from all around the county is really amazing. It was such a privilege to be able to see that, and I want to thank Martha Sturm and all the Office of Cultural and Heritage Affairs staff who organized that, as well as all the park staff at Trailside Museum. And speaking of parks events, we are having a spring garden fair and plant sale hosted by the Master Gardeners of Union County at the Demonstration Garden in Watchung Reservation this Sunday, May 15th, from noon to 5. There'll be hundreds of plants for sale, including native plants and as well as deer-resistant varieties. And if you have questions, there'll be plenty of Master Gardeners on hand to answer. Then on June 4th, we're welcoming our Rhythm and Blues by the Brook Music Festival back to Cedar Brook Park in Plainfield. There will be a full afternoon of music headlined by Rose Royce, along with a car show, food court, marketplace, pony rides. Admission to both events is free, so you can get more details at ucnj.org, and I hope you'll be able to attend. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. Commissioner Garrettson. Okay. Commissioner Baker.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to inform the county resident, well, first of all, let me just say that in terms of this week being Employee Appreciation Week, I hope that the employees are taking advantage of the activities that have been prepared for them. I know that at times you feel overworked and underappreciated, but you do a heck of a job, and you're not really, you're appreciated more than you realize. You know, after spending 29 years as a county employee, I kind of understand, but you are appreciated, and we do thank you very much for all of the good work that you do, okay? So without further ado, I just want to inform the residents of Union County that Union County continues to offer food distributions for residents during the COVID-19 pandemic recovery, and the fact that we do have some rising inflation that's affecting many people on a daily basis. On Saturday, May 14th, Union County will host a drive-through distribution at Kane University. Food distributions are open to all Union County residents. Food will be distributed on a first-come, first-served basis, and no registration is required. Proof of New Jersey residency and indication of how many people reside in their household will be asked to be provided. So you need to be aware of that. Recipients will receive an emergency box of produce, dairy, and shelf-stable food with enough to sustain a family for several days. Please note that only one box of food will be provided per recipient at each event. A vehicle is required. The county commissioners would like to thank Village Supermarket and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Gargilio Produce, for their continued.
Pretty good for non-Italian.
For their continued partnership in this effort. Residents looking for information regarding food distributions and other COVID-19 related services can visit ucnj.org/COVID-19. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're very welcome. Commissioner Dr. Gerritsen?
Everyone, I want to begin by just thanking the presentation on the plastic ban. I think that we all, or at least I went to a supermarket already and ended up walking out with everything in my hands. So it is not a fun situation. And I had ice cream, so we know what that's like. So the presentation is very timely and appreciated, and I just thank you for that information. I also wanted to echo the comments about Employee Appreciation Week. It was very lovely to be in Coney Park in our sweats. Not really, but we were looking fly. So when you see our video for the employees, we really did enjoy collaborating on that to really just extend some fun action words and meditation. And I won't do my pose for you because everyone might, get excited about it. So I promised that I would do that. But we had fun doing that. I also want to recognize that this is the month that we will start seeing a lot of graduations, college and other. So we are always very, very excited just to be able to congratulate all the academic students and the scholars who are doing so well and really making just, the future even brighter by being able to complete their schooling. So I'm just excited to be able to acknowledge all of the graduates, their families. It's a village that really allows folks to be able to do the good work of putting folks through college and high school and other. And I want to also thank the Finance Committee for their budget presentations, but also just making sure that we were able to have that particular item on the agenda this evening. I also want to share that Union County recognizes this month as Community Action Month. It informs residents that the month of May is Community Action Awareness Month. We did a resolution, May 2022. It enhances the lives of hundreds of people in Union County and millions of people across America by providing essential, life-changing services and opportunities. Throughout the month of May, Union County will work in partnership with community action agencies across the county to host events and activities. Through this series of events in the month of May, Union County will highlight community action agencies' roles in helping low-income individuals and families to move out of poverty and achieve economic security. The list of events include workshops on building credit, tenants' rights during COVID-19, job fairs, informational sessions for first-time homebuyers, as well as the self-help webinars and other timely issues. There will be more information on the community action agencies, and you can visit a website, communityactionpartnership.com, for that information. In addition, there's more information available about the services and programming throughout the month of May in Union County, and you can contact Nicole DeAugustine by phone, and her phone number is 908-527-4874, or by email at ndaugustine@ucnj.org. And lastly, I'd like, I saw my colleague over there look like, what's the next topic? And lastly, Mr. Al Mirabella for being a wonderful representative at NJAC last week. I was unable to participate, but he will be able to share some highlights. I had to go to a county college and represent a president for an inauguration, but we didn't miss a beat with our commissioners who were in attendance. So I do want to truly thank you and all the colleagues who were able to attend. NJAC, again, is the New Jersey County Association that we all are a part of. So it allows our county officials to interact with not only our administrators and others, to be able to do the good work and to be able to share and highlight some of the activities. And actually, one more point, I'm also happy to receive the email on NACO to see that we will be recognized. So we had a lot of really exciting entries, and we'll be able to, when we go to Colorado coming up in the next couple of months, to be able to celebrate the good work that we've done in the county. So again, just the Employee Appreciation Week, graduations, Community Action Month, the plastic ban, the Community Resource Action Month, NJAC, and NACO are all items that were on the top of my brain today, and I wanted to share. So thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Mirabella.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think Commissioner Garrettson used some of her bank time. Very good. Good comments.
Well, I didn't miss my comments last time,
Good
so I had to
comments.
get it all in.
Excellent comments, Commissioner.
Thank you so much.
As you may know, the AIDS Walk in New York City is coming this Sunday, May 15th. New York City AIDS Walk is considered the largest fundraising and awareness-raising event of its kind in the world, and Union County is proud to support the AIDS Walk. A Union County team is participating through the Office of LGBTQ Affairs and the Union County LGBTQ Plus Ad Hoc Committee in support of the Hyacinth Foundation, which is New Jersey's first and largest HIV service provider. Much progress has been made on the treatment of and prevention of AIDS over the last 40 years, but there's much more work to be done. We are committed to keep moving in the right direction by continuing to advocate for research, health, and social services, and education. If you would like to join the team, there's still time to sign up. You can register at newyork.aidswalk.net/Union County NJ. A couple of the quick comments. As Commissioner Garrettson mentioned, yes, several of us were able to go to NJAC last week. Chair Williams and Commissioner Mouded, along with several directors, the Deputy County Manager, Director Anderson, Graziano, our clerk, Jim Pelletier, I believe, Director Zuber. So it was a nice representation from Union County. John Donadio, the director at NJAC, does a terrific job. Several counties and individuals were recognized, and several seminars were there for all of us to take advantage of, and take advantage of them we did. So it was a great chance to represent Union County at NJAC, and I compliment Commissioner Garrettson for her work throughout the year as the designee and the delegate from our county to NJAC. I want to add my thanks and appreciation. I believe Commissioner Baker said it best when he said our employees sometimes feel overworked and underappreciated, but we appreciate them and all the hard work this is just 1 week to highlight their efforts and, recognize them for the extra effort and the work that they do, particularly the last several years stepping up and going above and beyond the call of duty, whether it was basically reinventing how we deliver services to the public, or volunteering and working at food distributions and vaccination and testing. It just was, everybody stepped up, and I'm proud of all of them. My last comment really is budgetarily related, and I want to congratulate Fiscal Chairman Granados, the rest of the Finance Committee, all commissioners who participated, and we all did. Certainly the county manager and the deputy county manager and finance director, Taylor, and all the directors. 3 years and 0 increase for 3 straight years is, I've been around for a while. I think this only happened one other time in my 25 years, and was early on in my career at the county. And it's certainly something I'm extraordinarily proud of in these trying times economically. To take the county manager's lead, the work that he's done to establish his budget through the finance department, and have a 0 increase, regardless of how any member of the public chooses to spin it one way or another. It's an extraordinary effort, particularly for 3 years in a row. You can do it for 1 year, you could do it for 2 years. 3 years starts to get really difficult. And for someone to stand there and criticize the fact that you have so much surplus is just absurd. And, that is, I couldn't even believe I was hearing that, and it's hard to shake me from that particular person. The last thing I'll add is the AAA bond rating. Sometimes we tend to gloss over that. That is extraordinarily hard to achieve and maintain. And I think the last time I saw, less than 10% of all governmental agencies, whether they're county or municipal, have that AAA bond rating. So this speaks to outstanding management, outstanding finances, outstanding future path for other budgets. I mean, it's a really wonderful thing, and something we so richly enjoy here in Union County and work hard at attaining and maintaining. So again, just thanks to Fiscal Chairman Granados for his leadership, and the county manager. I appreciate all the work that's been done. Sets the tone for the year, and I think we're in a good position for a great success in 2022 under your chair, William's leadership. That concludes my comments, Madam Chair.
That was long, too.
Thank
That was long. It was long. I used some of my bank time too, Commissioner.
Thank you. He has many powers. One of those powers is not invisibility, but I do want to just acknowledge that when Commissioner Mirabella mentioned those of us at NJAC, our county manager was also there.
Sorry,
So
CM.
he has many powers.
I did miss you. My bad.
Vice Chair Hudak.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to provide a brief update on the county's very successful and robust COVID-19 response, despite some comments made earlier today. The county continues to emphasize vaccination as the most effective way to prevent serious illness and long-lasting health impacts or death from this powerful virus. The Union County Free Vaccination and Testing Program is still up and running. We continue to administer rental assistance and food distribution programs for those impacted by the pandemic. And for those who are in need of COVID resources, please visit the Union County website, ucnj.org, or contact our call center at 908-613-7829. This is National Nurses Week. And it's an opportunity to recognize the nurses who have served our community through many crises, but more so than ever in the last few years. And we encourage everyone to reach out and thank those nurses in their lives. They're truly heroes and role models who work tirelessly to provide health care with kindness, comfort, compassion, and we thank them all with our hearts. I want to extend, my congratulations to Fiscal Chairman Granados, the finance department, and all of the county employees, from the county manager down all the way, for this year's budget. It's a truly successful effort, and not to repeat too much of what Commissioner Mirabella said, but truly 3 years in a row at a level tax increase at level tax rate is a tremendous accomplishment. And in doing so, maintaining or augmenting those services that residents required. And I, for one, am very happy to see that we've been able to reallocate resources in Union County away from corrections, away from the Union County Jail, away from a juvenile detention facility, and put it into education, roads, services. Through a pandemic, I see, not picking on her, but I see Administrator Dorado in the back, making sure everyone in the middle of a pandemic had the ability to vote, and at record levels. We did so at a level budget. And so the Union County employee family, very fitting that this week was County Appreciation Week, because that does not happen in a vacuum without their efforts. So thank you to our employees. Thank you for the jobs that you do. It is certainly appreciated. But thank you for working with us to look out for the taxpayers as well. And lastly, I just wanted to offer my condolences to the family of Governor McGreevey on the loss of his father, Jack, and former freeholder Amalfi, who passed away as well. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. Thank you. One of the things that Vice Chair Hudak mentioned was this is Nurses Appreciation Week. So Commissioner Palmieri Muded, Commissioner Kowalski, and I actually attended a recognition ceremony yesterday evening for all of for a number of nurses who came out, of retirement during the pandemic. It was a lovely affair, and some of you may not know, but Commissioner Palmieri Muded's mother, Pamela Palmieri, is a retired school nurse, and she too was honored, and she actually gave me my first injection, and I felt no pain. So it was a lovely event. Also along that line, another sort of serious thing. If you look closely at our resolutions, you saw that Resolution 419 expresses this board's concern about the potential overturning of 50 years of precedent with Roe v. Wade. These are scary times. I don't know what's going to happen, but doesn't look very good. So for those of you so inclined, it really is important to make sure that those at the federal level understand what is really at stake here, and that you make your voices heard. Just keep that in mind, and there will be a number of events supporting the effort to maintain women's reproductive health. We, of course, as you know, in New Jersey, the state passed a reproductive act to protect women. I'm ready to start a new underground railroad here from Mississippi. But the good news is, as was mentioned earlier, NACO, the National Association of Counties, has awarded us 3 grants, 3 of our departments: our Public Safety Department, our Parks and Recreation Department, and our Human Services Department. So I'll just quickly say that the Pop-Up Parks exhibit celebrating 100 years of Union County Parks will be awarded at NACO for this particular program. There were photographs displaying the tremendous efforts that have been made over these years in preserving land for public recreation and nature conservation. Our Union County Testing Lab partnership, back in December of this past year, we opened this lab in partnership with Duquesne University, the first county and academic-run lab in the nation. We expanded testing protocols to include detection of the Omicron variant. And of course, since the onset of the pandemic, we've been doing testing through our mobile clinics and our permanent testing sites throughout. I just want to, again, congratulate the Department of Public Safety on behalf of everyone here for that work and that stellar partnership. And then finally, our Human Services Department. And this was a program that we have to really give credit to our former chairman, Al Mirabella, as well as Human Services, Debbie Anderson and her team, for this Fresh Start mobile program, which provides shower, laundry, and restroom facilities to folks who are currently unhoused, along with providing them with resources and additional guidance on services that would help to foster self-sufficiency. This is the first mobile service to be offered in New Jersey. So once again, I'm really proud that we are leaders. In collaboration with a number of community partners, Fresh Start coordinates a variety of resources within our government: Division of Social Services, the Division on Aging, the Office on Women, the Office of Veteran Services, and we have about a dozen external partners, including the Elizabeth Coalition to House the Homeless, the Salvation Army, Elizabeth, Union, and Plainfield, those branches, the Urban League, the Gateway Family YMCA, and YWCA of Union County, among others. So congratulations to Debbie Ann and her incredible staff for this recognition. And we really do look forward to receiving these awards in July at the NACO Conference and Exposition. I think my colleagues have covered just about everything else. So I guess, I'm sorry, Chairman Granados.
Thank you, Chair. I just got a text message, and I guess Commissioner Leone was trying to keep in the wraps. But Commissioner Leone is going to be the Grand Marshal of the Cuban Day Parade here in the county.
All right.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay. So I guess that means I have to wear a sash and show up. Congratulations, Commissioner Leone. We're very proud of you. Thank you so much. Tonight, we do have a need to go into executive session, so I would invite County Council Bergen to make his statement relative to tonight's exec session.
Thank you, Chair. Pursuant to provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, a public body may enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing certain enumerated subjects. This board now wishes to enter executive session for the purpose of discussing attorney-client privileged communications and discussions relative to potential litigation regarding the Ashbrook Golf Course. The minutes of the executive session shall be separated from the minutes of the open public session. The minutes of the executive session, redacted as appropriate and necessary, shall be available in approximately 30 days. The clerk to the board shall retain the original minutes until such time as the confidential limitations have been removed, at which time they shall be made available. Upon the affirmative vote of a majority of the members present, the board may retire to executive session. Upon the board's return, it may or may not take formal action on the matters discussed. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. May I have a motion to go into an executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Third.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Mirabella, seconded by Commissioner Granados. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Baker?
Aye.
Commissioner Garrettson?
Aye.
Commissioner Granados?
Aye.
Commissioner Kowalski?
Yes.
Commissioner Leone?
Aye.
Commissioner Mirabella? Vice Chair Hudak?
Aye.
And Chair Williams?
Aye.
Chair, you have 8 votes in the affirmative to enter into executive session.
Okay, exec session. Thank you, folks. Okay, so, where am I? All right, I would like a motion to come out of public session.
Aye.
Second.
So moved, second.
Okay, so moved
Executive
by.
session.
Who said?
Is that what I said? That's. Oh, I'm sorry. Out of the executive session. Okay.
Second.
All right, that was moved by Commissioner Mirabella,
And seconded by me.
Seconded by Commissioner Baker.
She seconded.
It was me.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Again.
Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, I'm sorry. County Council, would you please make your statement?
Thank you, Chair. There's nothing to report to the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, here we go.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
Chair, I'd like to make that motion.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay. Motion by Vice Chair Hudak, seconded by Commissioner Dr. Garrettson.
Thank you.
Can I have a roll call for that?
Commissioner
I want to
Baker.
be sure.
Aye.
Commissioner Garrettson.
Wait for it. Let me look at you. Aye.
I like it. Could we do it?
Commissioner Granados.
Aye.
Commissioner Kowalski.
Yes.
Commissioner Leone.
Aye.
Commissioner Mirabella.
Aye for me today.
Vice Chair Hudak.
Give it to her.
Aye.
Chair Williams.
Aye.
Chair, you have 8 votes in the affirmative for the adjournment of this meeting. We are now adjourned.
This meeting is adjourned.
We're
Good job, man. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the team. We have one